Welcome to
Martin Doug Parents. Hello, you're back with Josh and Mel, and today, and Lenny, sorry. He's always sleeping. It doesn't feel like he's here, does it? Today, we're going to be talking about business. We like to mix things up, and we're going to share some of the trials, the tribulations, the pitfalls we've been through multiple times. Maybe every week we feel like, can we keep going with
Maybe
this?
every day.
Maybe every day. I'm sure some of you feel the same way. But you might be feeling like you're stuck in your job right now. You don't hate it, but you don't love it. We were in that position where we were both working full time and we wanted something bigger for our lives, but we didn't know how to get there. You know, I think the biggest thing is taking action. You can think on it a lot, you can research it a lot. But today we wanted to share how we transitioned from both working full time to now running a business like Lenny's Pup Shop. We're still in that transition. But we love business. We wanted to share some of the learnings we've had along the way. There have been a lot of learnings. So a lot.
There's learning every day.
Still learning, yeah. That's the biggest thing, I think. And that's why we probably enjoy it is...
Yeah, because if you're not learning, you're not growing, right?
Yes.
It sounds corny, but that's actually, it's so true, especially in business.
That's what they say. If you're not growing, then you're dying. It's the opposite. That's why you feel crap if you're just stagnant and doing nothing. So yeah, I love learning every day. I think that makes you feel alive. And so that's why, Mel, I wanted to ask and throw back to when we'd first started Lenny's Pup Shop. There was a lot going on. And Lenny's Pup Shop was originally a dog cafe. That was our first idea, to serve only dogs in a really cool caravan. But Mel, what did that transition look like? Because we were both working full time. Do you remember how we went from both working full time to now doing what we're doing with Lenny's Pup Shop?
Feels like a while ago now. But yes, I do remember. Obviously, we were doing the 9 to 5, the usual. You're working, you know, all hours of the day. You're coming home at 7. You have to cook. You have to walk the dog, and it just felt all a little bit mundane. I personally wasn't enjoying what I was doing, whereas I feel like you were enjoying a little bit of what you were doing, or you do enjoy parts of your job, which is always important. So yeah, at the beginning, I just felt like you and I have always wanted to do a business. I feel like more and more people are really wanting to have their own thing, which is fair enough. And I didn't enjoy having like a manager dictating my time. For me, like having a business is about having time freedom, which is what I really wanted. So yeah, so then when we started and we got the idea, I remember we were coming home, and usually during dinner time or after dinner, it was when we started to do researching on like the caravan, on what kind of menu we wanted to have at the caravan, what it is that we were trying to achieve. And a lot of that was just researching, you know, current businesses, like past businesses, and then just mapping everything out. We brainstormed, we had like brainstorming sessions. And I was just always on my phone trying to find, you know, are there dog cafes in Australia? Like obviously a lot of the regular cafes do give pup cups and all of that. But we felt like that was really original. So that transition from the full-time job, I felt like it kind of ignited something in me. You know, when we thought about the business, it started to bring a bit of motivation, a bit of like life back into me. So I got really excited again. And that was just, I remember that part. Transition wise, it went from, I feel like any spare moment of my day, I would start to work on the business. But then it got to a point where, it sounds really bad, but during work, I was doing business stuff. And that's when I really knew that I wanted to stop my corporate job. And I was really willing to go all in.
Yeah, I think you can. I do remember that feeling when we first started, and I still have it now. But you feel so flat and dull. But then when you start the business, it all of a sudden gives you this spark back, and it really lifts your mood up. But it is funny what you said, how you start a business because you want time freedom, you want financial freedom. But
you get
realize,
none of that.
Yeah.
By the way, just so you know, little PSA, you do not get any of that for years.
You've got to expect that. You've got to expect when you start a business, we always knew the first few years, people will try and take money out of it, but you don't want to do that. You want to keep everything in your business, keep reinvesting and keep it growing.
But I also think people confuse profit with what you're actually turning over. They're thinking what they're turning over is like really good, but when you take away everything that you're actually paying and all of your fees and all of the bills and all of everything, you're not coming home with anything, really. technically you're in the negatives unless you come up with something extremely viral like Scrub Daddy or something. But you know, it is a grind, and that is no joke. And we learned that the hard way because we're in it.
Yeah.
But there is something extremely fulfilling about it. But yeah, fulfillment and excitement and motivation are a whole different thing. That's not the only thing that drives you. It's a lot of actual work, which we'll get into.
Yeah. So if you're in the beginning and you are working full time, it's going to seem overwhelming because to start a business, ours was originally a dog cafe idea. It was a caravan. So you can imagine having to research where to get the best custom caravan, where to get tables and chairs, and how to make the menu, what we do with the menu differently. You have to have a website, you have to do accounting stuff, all these things that you don't think about in the beginning. It can seem overwhelming. I think now with AI, it can help because any question you have, just ask AI, talk to it like it's an advisor. And I find we didn't have that when we first started, but that would be the biggest advice I'd have now if you're starting is just talk everything through with AI, see where the best places are to get information. And you're probably going to start something online these days. That if we had to do it again, I think we always would advise going online because your cost of overhead, as Mel said, you're rarely going to have profit if you've got a lot of expenses. And the easiest way to get turnover is online. You can start an organic social media. You can start selling products or services online at a low cost to you. So in the beginning, I think look to research as much as possible outside of work hours, or if your work allows you during
which
work
you
hours,
shouldn't,
sneak that in.
But yeah, you don't think about things like even insurance. Like we developed the business in a pretty, I would say, low cost way. But yeah, when you have even coffee vans, I don't know how many people I've spoken to that wanted to start a coffee van. The concept of it is really cool, but between the time that it takes you to set up the generator, the fuel, you've got perishable items, you got to know the amount of milk that you're going to go through. If you got to make food,
the permits, the coffee's expensive, the cup
and
costs,
I feel really bad because I feel like every time someone comes to me and says, "Oh my God, I want to do something similar. Can you talk to me through it?" I'm like, I'm actually happy to sit down with you for an hour and tell you all the reasons why you shouldn't do it before you actually do it. And it's not to discourage, but it is something that I wish we had at the beginning.
Yeah. And it can sound harsh because doing this dog cafe, we were outside a lot. It was very busy at the park we were at. And as Mel said, we did things in a very smart way. We were quite savvy and we knew the cost of running a business. I was involved in them growing up. We obviously worked within them. And as Mel said, if you're doing coffee, you've got so many more expenses. We were lucky enough with the caravan. We didn't want a generator because that would scare the dogs.
It's too loud.
It's too loud, which saved a lot of money. And
but
not
even then it still costs us a lot. You know what I'm saying? So even us trying to make this as low cost as possible was still a lot. So every time Josh and I are like, we don't know how anybody else is doing this, because if you have a brick and mortar, you're paying bills, you're paying the electricity, you're paying the rent. There is such a beautiful idea of having a business, but the actual reality of it is extremely harsh. And I feel like we sound harsh, but having the business is harsher. Like it's harsh to us every day. But I think you learn and you grow. And like Josh said, we started with the concept of the cafe, and you have to be willing to grow in your business and change. Because if you're going to get stuck with that particular idea and you're not ready to budge or move, it will take you back quite a bit.
Yeah. And you've got to think when you start a business, think about every way it can fail. And then try and reverse engineer that so that you know what could take you down and try and protect against it. And don't be afraid, as Mel said, as having this like sunk cost fallacy where you've put so much into a certain part of the business that you don't want to let it go. For instance, with the dog cafe, in the beginning, it was amazing. It was novel. And we started it because it was actually Australia's first mobile dog cafe. And I think we really innovated in the space because yes, you would give a pup cup at a cafe. There were other store-based dog cafes, but they weren't really changing the way they were giving dogs the food. We served them like they were humans.
And I think by cafe, before anyone jumps to this as well, is like, there might have been like trucks selling treats, but we were giving full cafe experience, tables, chairs, service, brunches, fish and chips.
Menus,
it was a literal cafe just for dogs. And I think that's why we stood out so much. But just like anything, everything at one point gets, people get used to it. And they're like, oh, well, they're coming every weekend. It's not that exciting. And then dealing with the Melbourne weather just added another layer to all of that. So we learned the hard way, but that is business.
But I think it still is a good idea, and it does well at certain times. But yeah, with Melbourne weather, it's too hot during summer. Dogs can't be outside really once it's over 25 degrees. The permits are a challenge because everywhere you go, there were plenty of permits.
And they're pricey.
Yeah, and also this is a tough time, I think, for Aussies. I think this is probably one of the tougher times we've been through. I know getting something extravagant for your dog is an extra expense. And that's why we probably had to learn that the pup cafe wasn't the way to go, because we can't really scale that. And that's what you've got to be able to think to yourself, how can you scale this and get it to the next level? We can't have 50 caravans sitting at our house.
Well, also I think that's the first thing people always go to. They go, oh, franchise. No. Yeah. We've talked to a lawyer about it. It's just so much more work than what you think, especially legally. And like Josh said, having X amount of caravans, like where are you going to park that? Where are you going to put that? All the insurance of the caravan, all the permits for the caravan. It's just not really doable. But
the point we're getting to is we started as a dog cafe, which could be your first business. Mel even tried many more before this. I tried health coaching. And so you might try your first thing. If it doesn't work, try and pick up those signs early, and then you can pivot into something else, which for us, we realized in having Lenny as well, was selling these chews in particular and treats that are tailored to the dog's needs, whether it is teeth cleaning or helping them calm down. The cafe was a good exposure in a sense to get sort of good eyes on us online. But then we realized selling more through online is actually a better way to go.
But the cafe, we still had the range that we've got online was still available at the cafe. So it was still a great way to be able to speak to people, understand what they needed, what they wanted, what was convenient for them. Obviously, there's nothing more convenient than getting your dog treats delivered to your door rather than having to go outside in the harsh Melbourne weather. We got to try stuff with dogs while they were there. We got to watch dogs eat. We started to understand a little bit more about our clientele, and then they got to try our treats firsthand before we even launched it online. So having the cafe was absolutely a blessing. It was great. And like I said, you learn as you grow, and you change as a person and as a business person as well in your business. And you learn what works and what doesn't.
It's a good learning experience, because we'd never run a dog business before, and spending every weekend a 9 to 5 at a dog park with dogs nonstop will teach you what their behaviors are like, what they like, what problems dog parents are facing. So definitely you can use anything, even a failure, as a learning. Don't see it as a failure. It's all just learning. And that was our mindset going into this. I said to Mel, we could fail and lose everything, but it doesn't really matter, because you're going to learn so much from it that the next thing will be better.
And Josh always told me about mindset. It's all about your mindset from beginning to end. If you're able to actually look at things where it's glass half full, like it's okay, yes, it didn't work, but I've learned so much from this. It will get you so much further than thinking the other way, because what does that bring you anyway? Nothing much. I do have a question for you, actually, since we're talking about the start of Lenny's. But what did we do you think, in the beginning that made the biggest difference when we had zero experience running the business?
I think with zero experience, we had to sort of find some online coaching and help. I think for us, it was probably doing some online courses in the beginning, because we'd had no experience. Like Mel was in operations, I was in sales and had a medical background, but we had no experience in getting customers, first of all, because there's different stages or levels to a business. One is like top of funnel, which is trying to get basically eyeballs on your business or a customer acquisition, which you can do through a variety of ways, like organic socials or marketing, like meta ads, Facebook ads. But we didn't know anything about that. We'd never done anything in that area. And then you've got fulfillment of the product, because they obviously come in, they see your product, then they buy it. And then so that's fulfillment of the product. And then also the customer follow-up. You've got to be able to send emails, provide a good service. So there's sort of those 3 levels that you've got to master. And we didn't really have any idea about any of those. So I think that's the biggest thing, was we had to learn, how to market properly, how to do a bit of email marketing, which is probably the main channel I sort of recommend, is trying to acquire as many emails as you can, because then it's direct contact with people that you have. So we did some online courses that taught us a lot. I think it was a lot of learning through YouTube. You can basically find anything you need now online.
Yeah, you can teach yourself anything.
Yeah, so many free courses I signed up to. It sounds bad, but I would get tons of meta ads come up on my Instagram or on YouTube, and it'd say, sign up for these 10 different tips or these different emails or
But you
this
do what you
free
got to do.
course.
Yeah, you do what you got. If you have to. The more information you have,
Yeah.
the better.
Yeah, yeah. And then with the cafe, I think it was definitely getting some exposure, like on the news. We did a lot of reaching out, like nonstop. We would message Seven
Oh my
News,
God,
Nine
all the
News,
time.
all the newspapers, like every week. And then finally, we
Don't
got a
spam.
response.
Definitely don't spam. But we were doing it often enough that we felt like, because we really believed in the business.
Yeah.
So I feel like you gotta be pushy. Like you know when you watch those like Netflix movies where you see that like
Yeah.
assistant that just kind of does almost too much, but then like that's how
Yeah.
you succeed, is you got to really put
Kept
yourself
being
out there.
persistent. Exactly.
Mm.
You've got to be persistent. You've
Yeah.
got to believe in it. And then also hosting that pup cup eating competition, which is a cool idea. It was quite novel. It really brought, I think, the community together. Those events were amazing, and we want to do more of those. And then online, just learning how to advertise and learning how to make content that connects with people. Because sometimes you think, oh, just saying all the benefits of your product will sell people and get them to believe in it. But you've really got to find, what are the pain points people are facing? What is the dream state that they want to achieve? Like for a dog, you obviously just want to be able to really do nothing if possible and have their teeth clean and then be calm like Lenny. So you want as little effort for the person to have to put in as possible for them to get their dream outcome. So being able to communicate that in the right way, I think has probably been our biggest leverage points and our biggest learnings on what we had to do, which is hard because
But that all takes time. I feel like all that jargon sounds really overwhelming, but it is ultimately just about making sure that you know exactly what your customer wants, what it is that they need, learning how to communicate to them in a way that they understand and a way that they can actually hear it, and not the way that you hear it, because you will be a fan of your own products, of course.
Yeah.
There is no doubt about that. But how are you going to get your customer to feel the same way as you? And that has been the hardest thing for us to communicate, because you can give as much information to people that you want now. People will not read it. You can send newsletters, you can have all of the facts, all of the information, and someone is still going to ask you, hey, does that clean their teeth? Even though it says teeth cleaning in the title. So don't be surprised. It'll be a lot of repeating yourself, but that is the whole point. You have to constantly remind people why your product is good and how it helps them. But it's not just about listing benefits. It's about comprehension, like, making them understand in a way that they understand.
Yeah, because they say you could have the best product in the world, but if you don't know how to communicate it,
no one's going to buy
it's
it.
going to be worthless. Yeah, you have to be able to communicate in the right way. And sometimes it is hard, because I think having a sciencey background, I like that logical side of things. I like facts. I like knowing how things work. But if you start describing serotonin and different biochemical pathways, they're completely off it. So we've even noticed that, which is very funny. Every piece of educational content we do does terribly. No one cares. No one cares about.
No one, even though it answers all the questions that their parents ask us constantly. No one cares. No one interacts. No one engages. And this is something that you might find in your own business that will discourage you, because I feel like that was one of the biggest point of discouragement, is when you're putting so much effort into content that you feel is actually worthy, or it is like beneficial for people, and they don't care. It makes you not care at one point, because you're thinking, well, no one gives a crap. But then you go into the other extreme when you start doing content that is just entertainment, and you think, I want to go viral. That does nothing either. I can tell you that, because we've had videos gone viral, like proper viral, millions of views. It does nothing, guys. Don't think virality is not the way. I feel like a lot of content creators tell you that now as well. But yeah, it's just like information, too much facts. People just don't resonate with it.
Yeah. What advice would you have, Mel? Because Mel is our content guru. She does most of the content online. what advice would you have in terms of making authentic content that does connect?
Mm,
Because I know we juggle with that where if you do something polarizing, it's going to get engagement, but it
mm,
might not be true to what you believe. So, how do
mm.
you post authentic content and how do you try to not care about what people think about it?
That's a hard one.
Yeah.
I think you challenge me in that way because you're willing to have more of this polarizing conversation, whereas I'm not. But I think it's not good either to play it too safe. I think it
Mm,
is important to be able to like challenge things, and yes, things that are polarizing, or shocking, or
mm,
a little bit like left field, will get more conversation going, and that's what you want to have.
mm.
I think in regards to not caring about what people think, you just don't just like post things to rile people up or just for the sake of it. But at the same time, you have to be willing to take criticism. You have to be willing to take feedback.
Mm,
And we do polarizing things, I feel like, in the sense of we ask questions to have conversations to hear other people's side of it. I'm not
mm,
here to argue. I'm just here to listen to why you think this way, and I'll tell you why I think that way.
mm.
And hopefully that overall will help pet parents.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna say don't bring a female on heat to the park, and someone will tell me, oh well, our trainer told us it was okay, and somebody else says, well, our trainer
Mm,
told us it wasn't okay.
mm,
So it's good to have these conversations because it helps. It's not to start a fight or to
mm,
say, oh, I'm right and I'm wrong. So yeah, you have to be willing to take on feedback and be
mm.
able to kind of cop it a little bit. You have to
Yeah.
have thick skin. I worked in retail for 6 years. I have the thickest skin you can have. Retail, hospitality, everything, where people were just horrible, and
Mm,
I feel like I learned that over time. So you will build that resilience.
mm,
Um, and then another thing about authentic content: don't copy. I think a lot of people take something that I learned from one of the first entrepreneurs I worked for was that yes, you do not need to reinvent the wheel. You can
mm,
do something, but you make it yours and you make it better,
mm,
or you communicate it better. But it's always in your own way. And you will only find success when you do that because
mm,
people can see when you're being authentic and
mm,
people can feel when you're not being authentic.
mm,
And I think it's okay to take inspiration from people. It's okay because I mean, Lenny's Pop Shop came from inspiration
mm.
of my love of Lenny, of the things that I've seen. But I think it was very important for me and important for us that we stood
Mm,
out in our own way. And I do think Lenny's is quite unique. I
yeah.
really do. And I think I worked really hard on incorporating things like our blue, let's say like our tree bags.
Mm,
The wave at the front was because we lived at the beach before getting Lenny. Josh and I love the beach. We've always been
mm,
summery people. We love going to the beach. That was incorporated into that.
mm.
Lenny was in there because it's Lenny, so we've got a golden retriever at the front. Um, oh,
Oh, what is your dreaming, Bobby?
and I feel like it incorporated all the parts that are personal to us.
Mm,
And then when making content, it's the same thing. I try to stick to what I know. I try to stick to colors and fonts that give me a feeling, that I feel resonates with our brand and
mm,
the way that our packaging looks. So I think the biggest thing you want to do is you want to take inspiration from the things that you love, the things that drive you, the things that make up your business,
mm.
and that is how you make authentic content. And I think, yeah, try
Yeah.
your best not to do too much of copy and paste. I know that's hard because sometimes you look at something, you're like, I want that to be the exact same, but it's not going to last very long.
Yeah, it is very funny because even one of the coaches we had, one of her advice, the advice she does give is just copy someone who's
Mm,
doing well, and I think some people take that the wrong
yeah.
way because we've even noticed recently for us there are people copying exactly what we're doing. You know, they're coming out with long-lasting packs. They're using the exact same fonts. They're using the exact same marketing materials,
Mm,
which as we said, is okay to draw inspiration as you do in a business,
mm,
but you shouldn't just blatantly copy the exact same thing, which is what we're seeing happening.
mm.
Fair play to you, but we don't think that's, the way to make a business that's authentic to you, because a business should basically be an emulation of who you are as people, what you love, what your values are. And if you're just copying, then it's not really you and
But
it's not authentic.
yeah, and I also think like what Josh says, like the coach that says to copy. I understand the concept of what she's saying, but like Josh said, most people will take that literally.
Literally, yeah.
And it's not only hard because being someone who is creative and artsy, it takes so much of you to come up with that one Instagram post. And when someone does the exact same thing, it is extremely frustrating because you're trying to stand out in a world of pet treat businesses that are opening every single day. And I think some people might confuse this with, oh, well, you don't want other businesses to succeed, or, oh, you don't. No, there is enough room for everybody.
Yeah,
But
everyone can.
everyone, just like your brand, everyone is different. Your
Mm.
brand has to be different.
Mm.
Because if you're going to go and do the exact same thing, I can absolutely tell you, at one point your inspiration will run out because it won't feel like you, it won't resonate with you, it won't resonate with your business, and it's not going to be something that you actually want to do. Whereas I enjoy making our content because it's us,
Mm.
you know?
And we have that mindset. There is enough for everyone. Everyone can have their own slice of the pie. This world is huge and there's a lot of people out there. And if you're authentic to you, then you'll connect with people who resonate with what you're putting out there. If you're copying someone else, then you're just going after, their sort of, their people in a way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, our advice would be, yes, take inspiration as much as possible, learn from what others are doing, incorporate it into your own work, but still make sure it's true to what you believe and what your values are. And my advice, if someone is copying you, as I've said to Mel, is just try not to look at it. It will just annoy you, I think, if
I mean,
if
like,
you
some
see
people
it.
say, oh, take it as a compliment. I don't.
Yeah, that's what I say.
I don't
actually.
take I don't take it as a compliment, but
Yeah, I'm like, you're that good. They're gonna copy you. That's the thing, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, like, thanks, but also, like, anyway.
Yeah, because I feel
But
like
it's normal. It's normal. If this is happening to you, you can be
yes,
frustrated about it. It's
yeah,
hard. It's hard being, making creatives. So when someone is trying to copy you, just, like, I've seen so much drama on TikTok about, even, I know, girls that designed tops, and then a big brand will take over and copy the exact same design that they did, and then they print
yeah,
it in China and they do it by millions, and then the actual original creator gets no credit.
yeah,
It would be really hard. So, but again, you have to have thick skin. You have to be willing to just kind of brush it off and just keep going, and hopefully they'll stop and they'll figure out their own, brand at some point.
yes.
But in saying that, my question to you next as well is, did you ever feel like the business wasn't working? Because yes, although there is space for everybody, and everyone can have a business and whatnot, did you ever feel like it wasn't working, and how did you push through that?
Yeah, I think we spoke about the cafe. We had some really hard times with the cafe because it's a hard job to get up early, get everything prepped, getting it all on the car and driving out there, and then you're out there all day and it'd be raining or it's too hot and no one's there. And me and Mel are standing in this caravan looking at each other like, what the hell are we doing? Because it's hard. I feel like me and Mel, we work really hard. I feel like we are talented. And when you're standing out there in a caravan, with no one around, you're just sort of banging your head against the wall like, oh my God, we need to be doing something bigger, which might be the pressure, I put on myself or ourselves is, I've said this before, I always want to make a big impact. I want to help people. I want to change the world for the better. And so I have felt that, I feel like a failure when it's not going the way you want it to. You're not making the impact you want to. A lot of the time we can spend hours on creating a social media post and it does nothing, and you're trying to actually connect with people. You're trying to move the dial and nothing's happening. So yeah, so many times that does happen, and you'll feel that if you try to start your own social media, if you try to start your own business, anything that you're doing differently, it's going to feel like you're hitting a bit of a brick wall. So my advice would be is, you're going to feel like that. Let yourself feel like that for a little bit, and then let it motivate you to do more and change. Because I think, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So for us with the caravan, we stopped doing it. We started focusing more online, which is where we were seeing growth. And it has been a huge
Tenfold.
turnaround.
And I mean, like,
we've probably
massive.
10x'd in 6 months, the online. It's
But
probably 10x'd in that time of not working in the caravan. So go to where you can see success. Don't just keep doing the same thing. But I think before you start, you've got to have the right mindset and know that challenges are going to come up. and that if you want to quit as soon as it gets hard, then you're not going to be successful. Because if it was easy, everyone would do it. Everyone would be
100%.
successful if it was an easy path. But I think it's about just being consistent. Like every day I get up, I do my breathing, I do my, practices, I have a coffee, and then you just start working. Like, you
Mm.
just have that
I
routine
think it's a
every day.
personality thing too, though. I think it's probably not suited to everybody, and it depends on what you want from your business,
Yeah.
how big you want it to be, what kind of business you want to have. What is
Yeah.
it that you prioritize? Is it money? Is it time? Is it
Yeah.
just casually just cruising along? It depends what you want.
Yeah.
But all in all, it is just not what it seems to be.
Yeah.
And in saying that, actually, I have one follow-up question, because you're still in your full-time job.
Mm.
So if someone is working full-time right now, what should they be doing after hours to start?
Yeah, I think if you're in a full-time job, like for me, I do Lenny stuff before and after work, and then you do it on the weekends too. Because if you think about it, a full-time job, yeah, is like 9 hours of your day with travel. And so there's still a lot of time left in your day. You've got to sleep 8. So I suppose that's 17 hours gone. So you've got another 8 or so to play with if you've got to walk your dog. So I think if you just do a couple of hours in the morning and after work, and then you've got a whole weekend. You don't realize you can still work 9 to 5 on your business on the weekend. And it's not like I'm burnt out or exhausted. I think people say that all the time. Aren't you burnt out or aren't you tired? But if you are enjoying what you do, there's no burnout at all. It's not like exhausting work. So yeah, my recommendation would be is there's always more time in the day than what you think. Check how much time you're on your phone or just watching TV. This will tell you how much time you're spending on it. And if you put all that time into a business, I bet you would be getting somewhere. So yeah, do a bit of although I don't know, there are some obviously single mums, there are people with kids.
But in
That's
saying
when
that,
it
I was
gets harder.
actually gonna chime in that part, which I think we highlighted on in one of our other episodes, was that it's helpful because we have each other.
Mm,
I think if you are doing it alone, having a mentor, a coach, having somebody that you can go and talk to, like business wise, is really helpful. And you will need that to not feel the burnout, because it would be a very big responsibility to do it all on your own. But
mm,
then again, depending on how much you want to scale or what kind of business you want to have,
mm,
um, a one person thing will only last so long anyway.
mm.
It would have to be super small scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, advice would be don't quit your job in the beginning. Start working on it before and after work and on the weekends. There's still a lot of time there. Get it to a place where you're getting income and it needs to be profitable. And then you can look at obviously either scaling back the hours you're doing at work or quitting once you've got that consistent income. We're still in our day to day now where Mel's doing this full time, but I actually have a good boss at work. I do still enjoy being in the medical field. And at the moment, it still works for us where I can do it full time and Mel can work on Lenny's full time. Potentially, I think we do need an employee very soon to pack orders. So we're looking at that next scaling step. But what we have learnt, even with the two of us, is you can do way more than what you think is capable in a day.
Oh yeah.
And in your
You just
week.
have to be willing.
You just
That's
have to be
because
willing.
if we go and tell everybody what we do every day, they'd be like, how do you
Yeah.
keep up with that? It doesn't
Yeah.
feel that bad if you know how to plan your day out.
Yeah.
But like Josh says, you can do way more than what you think you can.
I just do more in a day now than I used to do in a week. And you sit down on the couch finally at 9 or 10 at night and then you're just ready to go to sleep. So if you're sleeping poorly, start a business because then you're so tired you'll just pass out. That's my advice.
But I will
I'll just
say
pass
this
out
though,
every
it's
night.
funny because you and I complain that, we don't get much time to sit down. But if we have too much time to sit down, it's like we're like, oh my God, we have to do something.
Yeah.
So
It's our personality. So
yeah, it's personality.
And that's the big thing. It's got to be suited to you. You can start a lifestyle business where you can work a lot less and you can just get a good income and be comfortable and be your own boss. But it will take a couple of years to get to that point.
Yeah. I think, you can definitely have something more low key and have like your
Yeah.
partner still work full time if they're, if you want to have that kind of lifestyle. But like the actual profit and the money that you're going to make, that doesn't come for a good 2 to 5 years, I would say.
Yeah.
If you want to be pulling a good wage out of it.
Yeah.
Or even an average wage.
Yeah, if you look at the stats in Australia, most businesses don't really turn a profit, or small businesses. and not many
Yeah.
get overturning, like not many turnover more than a few $100,000.
Yeah, not even like 300 grand.
I
To
think
be
I saw. I think
honest,
it was like 80% turnover less than $100,000 in Australia.
it sounds like a lot, but it's not anymore. Not in the way that we
No.
live. Not in life in Australia is extremely expensive. Everything is expensive, and to have a business is more expensive. To be honest,
There's
trying
so
to
many
open a business in
costs, so
Australia, you're
many
thinking
costs,
you're
yeah.
better off just having a full-time job.
Yeah.
But
The golden handcuffs. They keep you handcuffed
they
because it's
do.
comfortable enough to stay there, but it's not bad enough for you to want to quit. So that's why it's very hard for us to break out of this in Australia, to do your own thing.
Yeah.
And plus, to do a business in Australia is so hard. I feel like in America,
You need
this,
it
would already
I
take
feel-
off. It's so easy, but here
Or
it's a lot
if you can
harder.
do online and then like hit an international market,
Yes,
then
that
you're
would be
fine.
good. Yeah.
You're fine.
Or
So
do a service industry. Don't sell a product. Sell
no
information
physical
that you
products.
have. Yes.
We've dropped that right here. If you've made it this far into the podcast,
Yes.
do not
Don't do a
sell
physical product
unless it's extremely lightweight.
Yeah, that's what we're working on.
And
If you're
super easy to
accountant,
make.
sell your accounting skills. You know,
Yes.
put together a course, put together a program, a book, whatever it is. So
But
Mel,
make sure it's valuable.
So Mel, if you're starting out, then for someone to wrap it up, what are the 3 main tips you would give someone who's starting out right now and wants to do their own business? Or the 3 main
Oh my god, that's
sort
so
of
much
bits
pressure.
of advice would you give someone who's starting out now?
Okay,
what
number
should they
1.
focus on?
Yeah. Do your research, market research. Market research is very important. Who you're selling into, how old are they? What does your avatar look like? What do their day-to-day look like? What's their problem? What's their dream state? You need to figure this one out. This is so important because sometimes you start a business and you think you're selling to nobody. You're actually selling to just no one, and no one's listening to you. No one cares about you. No one knows you. So everyone says build trust, but you can only build trust if you really truly know who you're selling to. So that will be number 1, knowing your ideal avatar, knowing you're doing your market research. Number 2, I would say learn all of the basics when it comes to social media, because social media is everything. I speak to people of all ages, and everyone always says the hardest part for them is social media, because that in itself is a business. It's like you're running multiple businesses, because social media will consume all of your time, which hopefully one day, if you can, you'd get someone to manage it for you. But learn all the ins and outs of how to set it up, how to make ads, learning how to make content, talking head videos, learning how to put together all that stuff. So social media is very important. So I think getting on it, researching similar businesses to yours, watching their content, seeing how they're communicating to their ideal avatar. So I would say that's number 2. Number 3, the most important thing would be I find this hard. Yeah, I'm sorry. I find it's like you put me on the spot because I want to give something that is actually beneficial. I mean, you want to give me what your third one is? What would a third one be for you then?
I'll do 3 that are different to Mel's. One would be starting with your values and your mindset, and go into it with the right attitude. So you want to have like practices and habits that you can fall back on, because there's going to be stuff that comes up that's going to be hard. You probably want some sort of values or faith that you have, so that you're not going to give up at the first thing. What's the reason why you're starting this? So have your reason and your meaning before you start the business. Number 2, I'd say you've got to be very skilled at marketing. I think that's the biggest thing we learned, is how is anyone going to know about you? So I think the 3 pillars that you need to learn is email marketing, advertising, meta ads, learn how to do meta ads if you're selling something, or Google ads. You need to know meta or Google, and you need to know organic social media content. So that could be TikTok, YouTube, or Instagram. You need to get those 3 things right for marketing.
So similar number 2s.
No, a little bit. You
said
said
social
you said social media. I'm saying marketing in general.
Number 3.
Number 3, I would just say take action every day. Be consistent. So every day, try to implement something. Try and change something. Don't just keep doing the same thing over and over. Obviously, get up every day and just work. That's the third biggest thing, just being consistent. But I find that every day you can get stuck into the routine of just running your business and going through the motions. But I hear things on podcasts all the time. I watch something on YouTube. We're doing courses and I challenge myself. I don't always get around to it, but at least once a week I say, let me implement something different. Let me do something different. Let me try and make a change to improve something in the business that will have the biggest leverage, because otherwise you'll just get stuck, turning the wheel and doing the same thing every day. So 3 things: mindset, marketing, and learning as you go.
Well, actually, yeah, that was going to be my number 3. It was learning, just to make sure that you're constantly learning, that you're doing a lot of self-development.
Yeah.
So you don't know everything, and you will never know everything. So there's always more to learn, and there's always more to know.
Yeah. The more you learn, the less you know. That's what they say.
It is.
And now with AI, oh my God, I'm trying to stay ahead of AI, trying to learn all the tools. Something simple like ChatGPT is the base level. You've now got AI agents like Claude and Cowork coming in, where they can do so many things for you.
Yeah.
There'll be businesses soon over $1 trillion just with one person running an AI agents. So hopefully soon, maybe we can
learn about AI. That's another business.
AI, that is the biggest thing too.
Scary, but it can be your friend too if you know how to utilize it properly.
Be nice to it. It might come back for you one day.
But yes, hopefully this has helped some of you, or you've gotten some ideas from it, or some inspiration at least.
Yes, let us know if you have any questions. Let us know if you do have any ideas you're wanting to start a business.
And if you want to hear more of this, and we can make more episodes on business.
Let us know you're just here. Drop a little thumbs up in the comments. Give us a like if you're on YouTube, if you did enjoy the content.
You can even comment on Spotify too.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, we've had some comments on Spotify.
You can comment. Oh my God, give us a comment on Spotify. Whoa.
So yes, thank you guys so much for tuning in. See you next time.